So we've had some introduction to our seasons. We know we have 4 seasons in the Northern Hemisphere: summer, fall, winter, spring. We know that we have 2 days that we have called equinox, where we have close to equal day and night. And then we know we have 2 days every year that have solstice, so we have our longest day and our longest night. And our seasons change because of the tilt of the earth. So we're going to do a quick review today. Make sure you have your note sheet, and then maybe you'll have some other activities. So get out your note sheet, make sure you're ready to go. Great. So what would the earth be like without the earth's tilt? So we know now that tilt is what causes our seasons. Okay, so if you look at the picture on the right, we're tilted away from the sun. We're pointing away from the sun. That means we're going to get shorter daylight, less sun, okay, so less heat. So this is winter. But on the left, if you see, if our Earth's axis was not tilted and the sun was pointing toward us, we would be getting equal everywhere. It wouldn't ever be changing. We would never have a season. Okay, our seasons would always be the same, but it's not. Because we're tilted, we have 4 different seasons in our hemisphere where we live. Again, as you get closer to the equator, they're not really going to have 4 seasons. If you get closer to the poles, they're not really going to have 4 seasons. But for us, we have our 4 seasons every 365 days. Super important to remember how we rotate and how we revolve. We rotate or spin on our axis every 24 hours, and we go counterclockwise. And we revolve around the sun every 365 days. That's a year. Okay, so we revolve counterclockwise, opposite of the way the hands on the clock go. So we'd be going from 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, that way. So what do we know about our equinox? Well, we know equal means equinox. Okay, so that means we're not tilting toward the sun and we're not tilting away from the sun. We're getting close to equal light and equal dark. And it happens twice a year in the spring and the fall. So on March 21st and September 21st. Remember, those are equinox. We're not tilting toward it. We're not tilting away from it. Okay, we also remember from our last notes that we talked about an solstice. They're kind of the opposite of an equinox. If we have equal on a equinox, then we're going to have as much as we can get or as little as we can get on a solstice. So the picture on the left, we're leaning toward the sun. We're going to get our longest day and our most heat. Picture on the right, we're leaning away from the sun. We're going to get our shortest day and our most cold, or our least amount of heat. Those happen in June and in December. So how should we label our diagram? So if we're looking at it, if we start on the right, we're leaning away from the sun. And think about it again. If I'm leaning away from a fire, I'm going to be cooler than if I'm leaning towards the fire. So if I'm leaning away, I'm going to get less heat and less light. So I'm winter. Okay, I have to know after winter comes spring. So I just have to memorize that. Every winter, right after that, we get our spring. So we're not leaning towards the sun. We're not leaning away. Okay, so we're going to have our equinox. That is our spring or our vernal equinox. After every spring, we go to summer, and we can see our axis is pointing toward the sun. We're going to get our most daylight and our most heat. So we're going to have our hottest days and our longest days. And then we just have to memorize after summer comes fall. Because we get equal day and equal night, it's hard to tell if we're in the fall or the spring. The only way to know is the season that comes before and the one after. So we go winter, spring, summer, fall. Make sure you've labeled your diagram.